This is The Magic Fiddle by the Brothers Grimm, originally published in 1904. This classic fairy tale is in the public domain and may be freely used by anyone. Welcome everyone to another Fuzzy World Reading Collective. My name is Fuzzy, and just to remind everyone, if you want to read along with tonight's book, head on over to library.AFuzzyWorld.net. We are live every Monday night at 11 p.m. for a brand new story. Tonight, we will be reading The Magic Fiddle from Grimm's Fairy Tales. The Magic Fiddle. There once was a rich miser, and he had a servant who served him truly and well. This servant was the first one up in the morning and the last to go to bed at night. If there were anything to be done, he was ever ready to do it, and no matter how hard he had to work, he was always merry and happy. After the servant had worked a whole year, he asked the miser for his wages, but the miser said,
"Wait 1 year longer, and then I will pay you."
For he thought to himself,
"I shall save by doing this, and the fellow is not so likely run away."
The servant did not fancy this plan, but being a happy fellow, he said nothing and worked for the miser another year. At the end of the second year, the miser again put him off and said he would pay him at the end of the third year. When the end of the third year came, the servant said, "Master, I have served you truly and well for 3 years. Pay me my wages, for I wish to go away and look about the world." The miser answered,
"Yes, my man, you served me well, and you shall have your pay."
Then he put his hand into his pocket and drew out 3 pennies. When he had placed these one by one in the servant's hand, the old miser said,
"There, you have 1 penny for every year, and that is more than you would get from most masters."
The good servant, who knew little about the worth of money, put the 3 pennies in his pocket and started off to see the world. He had gone only a short way when a little old man came out of the bushes beside the road and cried,
"Where are you going, my merry fellow? You sing as if there were not a care in the world."
"Why should I be sad," answered the servant, "when I have 3 years' wages in my pocket?" "And
"Pray, how much is that?"
asked the old man. "How much? Well, 3 good pennies to be sure," said the servant.
"Listen,"
said the old man.
"I am very poor, and I cannot work any more. Give me your 3 pennies, for you are strong and easily earn your bread."
Now the servant had a good heart, and he was sorry for the poor little man, so he gave him his 3 pennies, and said, "My friend, you need them more than I do. Take them, I shall not miss them." Then the little man said,
"I see what a good heart you have, and in turn I will give you 3 wishes, 1 for each penny, and I will give you a good word besides."
"Ah," said the servant, "you are a fairy, I see. Very well, then. First, I wish for a gun, which will always hit when I aim at. Second, I wish for a fiddle, which will make everyone dance when I play. Third, I wish that no one shall be able to refuse whatever I ask.
You shall have all 3 wishes,
Said the little old man. And diving into the bushes, he came out with a long gun and a beautiful red fiddle. These he gave the servant and said,
1 word, and I will go. Your master has cheated you. Your 3 years' works has worth 100 times
3 pennies. Then the servant was angry and turned back to ask his master for the rest of his money. He had not gone far when he came upon the old miser looking at a bird in the bushes.
Ah, said the miser, what a fine meal that bird would make, if only I had him.
If that is all, said the servant, the bird shall soon come down. He took aim, and down fell the bird into some thorn bushes. As soon as the miser had crept in among the thorns to pick up the bird, the servant took his fiddle and started to play. At once the old miser's legs began to shake, keeping time to the music, and in spite of all he could do, he had to spring up among the thorns and begin to dance. The longer the servant played, the faster the miser danced. The thorns tore his shabby coat, combed his long beard, and scratched him all over.
Alas, he cried, put down your fiddle and stop playing, or I shall be torn to pieces.
The servant let the old man dance a while longer, for he thought, You have cheated many men in your time besides me, and the thorns shall not spare you now. So he played on, and the miser had to jump higher and higher, until his coat hung in rags about him. Do stop, he cried the miser. I will give you anything you like if you will only stop. Take this bag. It is full of gold. Oh, well, if you are so free of your money, said the servant, I am quite ready to stop my music. But I must praise your dancing, for its equal I have never seen before. Then he took the bag and went on his way. The miser stood in his rags and looked after the servant until he was out of sight. Then he cried with all of his might, You wicked fiddler! I will get even with you yet. I will chase you till the soles of your shoes drop off. Then the miser ran to the judge in the nearest town. Just look here, Mr. Judge, he said. See that what has been done to me on the high road by a wicked servant? The sight of me should melt a heart of stone. My clothes and my body torn, and my bag of gold taken away. Oh dear, oh dear! You must put the wretch in prison. Then the judge said,
Who it happened? How did it happen? What did the man use a sword?
Oh, no, cried the miser. He had no sword, but he had a long gun, and a fiddle he was hung around his neck. The man can be easily found.
So the judge sent out men after the faithful servant, who had been walking slowly along. They soon came up to him and found the bag of gold in his pocket. When the servant came before the judge, he said, I did not lay my hand on the miser, nor did I take his money away. He gave it to me of his own free will. If I would only stop playing, for he said that he could not stand my music.
What next? Cried the miser. His lies are as thick as flies on the wall.
The judge, who could not believe the servant, said,
You tell a very poor story. No man ever gave a bag of gold for such a thing as that.
And he ordered the servant to be hung to the gallows for robbing a man on the king's highway. As the servant was being led to the gallows, the miser cried after him,
You dog, for a fiddler, it is good enough for you.
The servant climbed the ladder to the gallows with a rope around his neck.
Just before he got to the top, he turned and said to the judge, "Let me do one thing before I die."
So, as long as you ask not for your life, said the judge, I will grant your wish.
"Well, all I want," said the servant, "is to play my fiddle once before I die." Then the miser gave a loud cry. "Don't do it, Mr. Judge. Don't let him do it." But the judge said,
Why should I refuse him? He may do it, and that is all the end of it.
the judge could not have refused this last wish, even if he had wanted to, because of the fairy's gift to the servant. And then the miser cried, "Alas, alas! Tie me tight, tie me tight." Good servant took his fiddle and started to play. At the first sound, all began to wag their heads. The judge, his clerk, the jailer, hangman, and everyone who had come to see the hanging. At the second scrape, they all lifted their legs, and the hangman let go his hold of the servant that he might get ready to dance. At the third scrape, they one and all jumped in the air and began to caper madly about, the judge and the miser at the head. Soon everyone, old and young, fat and lean, was dancing as hard as he could. Even the dogs stood up on their hind legs and danced about with their rest. The longer the fiddler played, the higher they jumped, till at last the judge, quite out of breath, cried,
I'll give you your life if you will only stop playing.
So the servant hung the fiddle around his neck and came down the ladder. He went up to the miser, and who lay all tired out on the ground, and said to him, "Tell the truth about how I came by that money, or I will play again." Then the miser told the judge the whole truth. The judge ordered him to be hung on the gallows in place of the good servant. And that was the Magic Fiddle out of Grimm's Fairy Tales. Thank you again, all, for showing up for another AFuzzyWorld reading collective. I appreciate you all being here. Once again, we do go live every Monday night at 11 p.m. for the live reading. Then within the next week, we will have a download of the video, a PDF, a text file, an audio book for your enjoyment. That is at library.afuzzyworld.net. I hope you all have a wonderful evening. I appreciate you all being here. Have a great night, a wonderful evening, and I will see you in the future.